Hello fellow adventurers, and welcome to another edition of RECAPitation Deep Cut with me, Oni Black Mage. First off, thank you Ninja Commander for picking this one. I meant what I said in the video, that a lot of people ask for Ground to be Broken in the Shadow Hearts series. To be honest, I actually have Koudelka and the entire Shadow Hearts trilogy on disc already, which is honestly good because if I tried buying them all now, I'd be shelling out around $300 altogether. You know, I remember buying the Shadow Heart games back when I was on a massive PS2 RPG collection craze, and I didn't even play the second or third ones, so when I get around to them, I actually kind of look forward to seeing the new experiences and seeing how they age. I mean, they're obviously popular. I also picked up Koudelka by accident, really. I didn't know it was related to Shadow Hearts at all, I just picked up because it was an RPG, plain and simple. I think, though, I have just the disc, I never got the original casing for it. I think I'll just cut to the chase right now. I like this game, but I can say some clarifying criticisms about it. One thing that kind of bugs me about the game is that when I was doing research on it, it was how often people basically described it as Resident Evil as an RPG. And honestly, I can see why they think that. You know, you're in a spooky mansion, you explore and solve some puzzles, you fight zombies and other monsters, the fixed camera angles and pre-rendered backgrounds, you got limited save and inventory or ammunition, and you're even using specialized key and symbol doors. But even the basic premise of mad science gone wrong is a parallel. But you know, despite all that, for me at least, I don't see that. I see the game as nothing like Resident Evil. For one thing, the game is way too easy, even with the existence of limited saves and inventory. It doesn't really push you to the limits of tense conservation, kind of like Resident Evil does. Resident Evil also focuses way more on puzzles and gameplay, while Koudelka's focus is definitely more on character development, especially the team dynamic. The team dynamic in particular is very interesting. It's not your traditional RPG team-up, you know, for justice, like, oh, it's a evil haunted mansion, let's go kill them for great justice. It's really just three flawed people who don't actually like each other, banding together in an uneasy alliance to kind of serve their own purpose together, but just banding together just to survive. And honestly, I like that. It kind of shakes things up. By the way, one thing that surprised me was how good the animation and modeling was for a game of this age. Most early 3D model games, the characters just stand around and maybe point or wave their arm when talking, especially in RPGs. Here, characters are moving and looking around in a very believable manner, even characters in the background that aren't the focus of the scene. I really like that. It's a surprising level of detail. I guess then I should talk about the voice acting. Unlike Resident Evil, or maybe a lot like Resident Evil, it's pretty shaky at times, and that's definitely because it was a low budget shoot and the quality is definitely bad. But then there are times later when the actors just do a fantastic job. My favorite scenes were when Edward and Koudelka get drunk and pour their hearts out, or when James is heartbroken before Elaine. Like, you really feel those actors are trying their best on it, and it comes across. Their effort is appreciated. One of the things I do have to criticize, though, is the combat system. So, they went with a grid format, and while they mechanically do it okay, there's fundamentally no reason why they need to go grid versus the normal party rows and turn-based. See, grids are normally used as an easy way to move characters because placement matters, especially in regards to area-affecting attacks or abilities. But other than a small handful of enemies, actually I can only think of maybe twice where there was a multi-hitting enemy attack. I don't think I even got one myself. But yeah, not even the final boss really used anything other than single target attacks or magic. So there really wasn't a point to making the effort of making it a grid format. It really could have been just a regular turn-based, and that would have been fine. But story-wise, I have to say the plot was well-paced. The reveal of strangers to each other, their slow trust to reveal the motives, the background plots, the introduction of new elements in the story, they were actually all pretty fine, especially for how short this game was. I think I finished this game under 10 hours, I want to say. I didn't bother with the gargoyle fight because he's optional, and all you get, I just looked it up, all he gets is just this amazing weapon. And, you know, I actually kind of hate that trope. I hate when you get the strongest weapon in the game after beating the strongest foe in the game. Like, what's the point? You already proved that you were the strongest without it. It's that ironic prize that sort of trope has never been appreciated by me. By the way, I do think the side plots of Charlotte and the caretakers were okay, but others like Roger Bacon seemed like they were going somewhere, but didn't. I remember at the end where he stressed that, oh, I need time to think of how to beat Elaine, but here's how you can get started. But the party just walks to the tower, burns everything, and uses good old-fashioned violence to get the trick done. and I kind of wonder if they planned, you know, writing more into the game at that point, but that's a small nitpick. By the way, I hope you liked the 5 tracks I played during the video, because those 5 tracks are the entire soundtrack for this game. No lie, this game is completely silent except for your footsteps, which, you know, it's obviously to accentuate that sort of desolate feeling of isolation, kind of accentuates the atmosphere. It's just ironic because the writer-director, who's also a composer, he started out as a composer for Square. And it's funny because he doesn't really compose much here. It's really only the intro and ending themes and the battle music. And, I don't know, maybe it's just force of the environment, but the battle music did grow on me, so I suppose I like it. But you kind of don't have a choice since there's only one battle theme, Waterfall, then there's 2 boss themes, Incantation again, and Patience, and then the final boss theme, Kiss Twice. I just kind of find it funny how they all start with the same drum roll, but in truth I like them all. You know, they're catchy enough to carry the battles along. So overall, fun game, I liked it. Given its length, you can knock it out in like a session or 2. I suggest making everyone a specialist, by the way, pro tip, since making a well-rounded stat character is basically useless in this game. So thanks for listening to this RECAPitation deep cut. Thank you again for being a patron. Follow me on Twitter at OniBlackMage, and look forward to more Shadow Hearts this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next battlefield.